reaching you from the Abuja Studio and Television Authority, NTA, the largest TV network. And we're about to tell you what's going down at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, where we're expecting the arrival of President Muhammadu Buhari. This afternoon, joining me in the studio to discuss his arrival after what many describe as a very long medical vacation, Abdurrahman Abu Hamisu, an Abuja-based public affairs analyst.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's my pleasure to be here.
And next to him is Dr. Paddy Njoku, the President, International Institute of Leadership and Governance. Doctor, it's good to have you in the studio.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
And next to Dr. Njoku is Ogbeni Ayobami Oyalowo, a digital media strategist and public affairs analyst. Ogbeni, you're welcome.
Thank you for having me. Good afternoon.
And last but not the least, a man I would describe as the one who has many feathers to his cap, Honorable Tayo Tola Agbaje, National Public Relations Officer, Buhari Friends Organization Network. He's also the Director of Research and Planning, Buhari Action Group. Also the National Secretary, APC Patriots. And lastly, the National Director of Mobilization Progressive Solidarity Forum. You're welcome.
Thanks so much. My pleasure to be here.
All right. Now to kickstart the discussion, exactly 1 week ago, the President received the presidential media team in London. And for the very first time, Nigerians saw their President walk, talk, and even laughed. Now, so, as he returns, while during this visit, he told us that he's okay, but only obeying his doctor's orders. Today, as we expect his return, we want to know, can we say his doctors has finally given him a clean bill of health, or was this just, did he just stop taking orders from his doctors and said, listen, I'm the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, my people need me, I need to be back home. Let's start off with you, Hamsu.
Well, thank you very much. From his statement, it is obvious that he must have been discharged by his doctors, because he said he was fit and willing to return home. He's only waiting for his doctors to confirm whether he should return or not. So, by that very particular token, I think we will not be far off mark if we conclude that he has been certified to be fit and he can return home, pending the other directives that were not that are not available to the public for now.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Njoku. Let's hear your views on that.
Well, my views are that it is a thing of joy that the President is coming. He's not being carried home. His corpse is not being brought. Every Nigerian should thank God for that. The President is the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria. He has undergone a humbling experience that every Nigerian, every human being should learn from. That even though you are the Commander-in-Chief, there is a senior Commander-in-Chief who, once your health has issues, and that senior Commander-in-Chief is his doctor or his doctors. They are the ones who command him, and then he obeys. And of course, there's the superior, most superior Commander-in-Chief, and that is God. You see the effort this man made to be president this time. He succeeded in being president, but his health started failing him. I think it's an experience that we all should learn from and be humble, obedient to God, and pray for God's protection and guidance and provision of good health in all circumstances. So I think it's a thing of joy that today we are not mourning, rather we are receiving him with joy and happiness.
Thank you very much, Dr. Njoku. Now, taking off from your last line, Obeni, you heard what Doctor said, and before now, we linked up with our outside broadcast crew who are stationed at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. Now, you saw the mood. What do you think it's like in other parts of the country?
Even where I am, the mood is light. I mean, the moment I saw the press release from Mr. Femi Adesina, I actually left for joy, because like somebody, I think it was Governor Okorocha that said it, as Africans, health is something that even if I have a quarrel with you, the moment there is an issue with your health, generally we tone down our personal enmity or quarrel or whatever is it we have, because we respect health. And there's a Yoruba adage that says, "Ẹni tí ò tí kú, kó má ṣe yọ ẹni tó ti kú, torí ẹni tó wà láyé ó mọ ikú tí ó pa." I will say it in English. He that is alive should never make mockery of he that is dead, because the one who is alive doesn't know the type of death he will suffer while he's still alive. So it was a thing of sadness to see people politicize sickness as if it is a sin to be ill. Every human being can be ill. It doesn't matter your age, it doesn't matter your job. And I will expect that where I'm working today, if I'm ill, I will expect my management to stand by me so that I can be back on my feet and be back on my desk. Not the other way around. Not vilify me, not punish me, because sickness is not a sin. It is the failing of every human being. If you are the religious type, you will realize that the Bible teaches, and I'm sure the Quran must have been saying something similar, that when man sinned, man lost the glory of God. And the frailty of man started from the moment he sinned against God. He started dying gradually. So every one of us will suffer two fates, sickness and death. Nobody among us here will escape it. Just that we don't know how it will come and when it will come. Therefore, it is not something to make jokes about, to laugh, or to insult somebody about, because it's a destiny destined for every one of us. So for me, I am glad because the man is back on his feet. I'm happy that he's coming back, because yes, his deputy, who has been the acting president, and we say the acting president has been perfect. He's been very, very competent. I mean, I will never pray for a better deputy than that man, Professor Yemi Osinbajo. But you still want the president who Nigerian sovereign rests within, because he is the moral authority in that presidency. So it's a thing of joy. I am happy, and I'm sure a lot of Nigerians who are right thinking are happy, because naturally as Africans, we rejoice with those who are rejoicing. We rejoice with the family of President Buhari, and we rejoice with other Nigerians, because what we've been praying for, we are coming to see it live, that the man is on his feet, and he will soon be joining us in a matter of minutes.
All right, Honorable Agbaje, now, yes, there is freedom of expression, but then are there lessons to be learned from what has transpired so far, most especially things that trend on the social media? As a matter of fact, yesterday when I saw the press release, what came to mind was, there they go again. You know, like, I wasn't sure it was really coming from the special advisor to the president on media and publicity. So, well, what's your take on this?
You might really doubt whether it's going to be true or not. Well, I thank you so much. I thank the NTA. You people have been so fantastic in this reporting. We thank God today that our prayer have come to pass. It's what we have been praying. We have been doing a prayer summit all over the country in Buhari Friends Organization Network, that we pray for our president. We have taken it upon ourselves on a monthly basis. We pray for the president, for the government to move forward in policy and program of this celebration, that this APC-led government, this Buhari will move Nigeria to the next level. And he has been doing that fantastically. Right. Nobody will pray for bad thing. About health, you can't pray for your death. You will not be sick. I felt sick about a few days ago, and I'm here sitting in the studio now. So one thing is that, like, we will engage resume or resign Shalibu and his group last week. We let them know that if people are sponsoring you to come on here and be doing such and be misinforming the country, we are not going to be part of that. We are not going to allow that to happen. This man, when he came on board, the road of PDP led behind, they are trying to fix it. And it's about planning, it's about proper planning. You can't just, when you destroy a house, you don't expect that house must be built that day. And he has been doing fantastically right to fix things in this country. And when this man fell sick, okay, he transmitted a letter to the National Assembly that his first president will be an aspirant, will take over from there. And the man that is doing fantastically well. And we appreciate Nigeria, appreciate from him. In government policy and program, you have been doing, in commission of projects, in appointments, you have been doing that. You see how the minister works and trying to commission. You see the transport
yes.
So
all this,
nothing, there's no vacuum in government.
All this actually happened, but then what we're looking at today is that finally the president is back. So we are not here to really.
I can
who said what?
I can understand his enthusiasm.
It's a happy mood. It's a happy mood. Yes. Thank you. I'll come back to you. Well, thank you. you. But we just can't sweep it under the carpet anyway. Hamisu, what do you think? As soon as Nigerians saw our president, the video clip in London when he received the presidential media team, there were rallies, you know, countering those who were calling for his resignation and resumption.
Yes.
But then today he's going to come back. So are we going to see more rallies in support of the APC-led government? And if we're going to see that, how can we control this to know that it's just to express happiness and not antagonistic moves dividing who is for who and all that?
You see, there is one thing I want to get very straight so that people can really take it into their head as we approach these issues. You see, this is democracy, and if we accept democracy as the tenet of government as well as engaging ourselves, we must understand that where our own right stops, other people's right begin. So that as we are pro, so also we have the anti, which is something that democracy allows. So we must understand this before we start engaging ourselves. You know, why democracy has been accepted all over the world is because it allows for Georgia without pulling the trigger. But you know, one thing with the black man is the fact that we overdo things. These are the limits. We will not stick to those limits. We go beyond the limits, and that is why we always have bloodshed, whether in democracy or outside democracy. Now, the president is back. On my way to the studio along Airport Road, you would believe what I saw. Nigerians left all they are doing to come and welcome Mr. President, which shows that up to now he still have some support base. But that is not to say that he doesn't have those that doesn't like him, because this is democracy. It's all about interest. Therefore, as we go out to celebrate Mr. President, we should know that there are neighborhoods that don't like Mr. President, which is the truth. And then it's like that. During the previous administration, there are neighborhoods that don't like the administration, so that we know all of this. The president is the president of the country, whether we like it or not, whether we voted for him or not. There is nothing anybody can do about it. He will be there till 2019, except when he writes a letter that is incapacitated, or we don't pray for the inevitable to happen that is dead. But then we must get something very straight, which is that in democracy, it's all about opposing views. And these clashes must continue. The beauty is that it should not lead to bloodshed. So as we go about celebrating the return of Mr. President, for me, it is not a time for celebration. But for others, it is a time for celebration. But for me, I am sympathizing with this very particular president, because this is a president that has a lot to do. It's like somebody who has been given an empty bottle, and then you are under pressure to fill it. Imagine what will happen. Some of the water will go in, and don't. It's not as if it is an open container that you can just pour water into at the same time for it to fill. So filling the bottle will be gradual. A lot will be splashing out, and then people will be pressurizing you. Fill it. Time is ticking. So for me, it is a time for total and absolute reflection on the direction of things. What has been happening before Mr. President left? What has happened when he was away? What is happening now? And what Nigerians are expecting.
All right, thank you very much. Dr. Njoku, bringing you in as the president of the International Institute of Leadership and Governance. From what Mr. Hamisu has said, what do you think?
Well, people should know that our democracy is maturing little by little, and we must go through these experiences and challenges to get full democracy. The Igbos have an expression which describes politics best. They say it's ndoro ndoro chichi, ndoro ndoro. You draw this way, I draw the other way. You draw this way, I draw the other. So people should always understand this. So no one view is accepted 100% in democracy. There must be an opposing view, which even comes to ameliorate the preponderant view, and people get more cautious. That if I make a mistake now, they will criticize me. So that is why these criticisms can be healthy, provided they are constructive, constructive criticisms.
Exactly.
In the case of Mr. President, I think the man should be pitied. I mean, let each and every one of us put himself in the man's position. A man who struggled so much to become president and who unfortunately does not have the health to implement all his promises. It is a pitiable situation, and I think that much as we can learn from it, you remember the doctrine of necessity that we suffered in the other case?
Yeah.
We learned from that. So now there was no case of doctrine of necessity, because in due form he transmitted powers, okay, and informed the National Assembly and left. So also this one that is happening now, we are learning from it, is building our democracy. What I advise people is not to overreact, but to be ready to learn from all circumstances. And whenever anything happens, even to you as an individual or a nation, let's ask ourselves, what does God want to teach us in this challenge? How do we come out of it better, instead of getting overwhelmed and reacting like overwhelmed people? So I think that it's a positive thing that we have learned to be patient, prayerful. The man has gone, he's coming back. Even if he has to go again, let us know that we are simple human beings, no matter the amount of power we think we possess. And any of us, as he said, any of us could suffer that circumstance. And the only way is to be prayerful, to be obedient to God. Imagine yourself as a president, commander-in-chief, then you get to London, one small girl tells you, remove your dress, let me put a needle in you and all. I mean, the president and commander-in-chief. So these things are humbling. They are educative, if you like, as far as life is concerned. I call on Nigerians that we should be a little, I mean, show more temperance and maturity in handling issues like this. But also, I advise the ruling party and their stalwarts like my friend Abuja here to create that room for the other side to say, no, we don't agree with this. It's only through that we practice what Igbo call ndro. You see, you draw, I draw.
I will learn what Igbo to read before I leave this place.
Definitely. When you came on, you gave us your own Yoruba. So Dr. Padis too has given us in Igbo. And Doctor, you said something. You said there was never a vacuum while the president was away.
No.
Because the acting president, who is the vice president, held forth. Now, taking off from there, now the president is back, and definitely as a digital media strategist, we're definitely going to see more. So what are we, just think, what are we going to see now?
I mean, they have already had a system now that is working. The acting president, who is actually the vice president, handles the economic team of the federation. Even when the president is on seat, he has been the head of the economic team. So, you see, what happened is just that I think President Buhari must have been led of God to have picked this man as his vice president, because economically he never disappointed while he's manning that desk. And now that he was not around, his vice, who is now the acting president, held forth so well, so beautifully well, that you just look at these two men, you feel they were both born on the same day to do the same thing. They are, like I wrote earlier on, they are a wonderful combo. A
At
great
point,
combination.
the acting president even said this is a father and son relationship.
I mean, the relationship between them, you won't think they have known each other for 200 years. So for me, I don't see any problem. What would just happen is the acting president would revert back to his role as the vice president, running the economy as he has been running it. And the president will be there to give the guidance. All we want from President Buhari is to sit down there as the moral authority, giving the guidance, so that people will know that, yes, there's someone to fall back on. I mean, for him, I don't see him as a power grabber, because he was not scared to relinquish and transmute power when he was traveling. I mean, for me, that is, like he said, we have learned that because of what happened in the past. This man had traveled twice for health issue, 3 times now. And all the time, he might have died in any of those periods, and he was not afraid to transmit power so that should anything happen, but we thank God it didn't happen, we would not have had reason for any doctrine of any necessity. It would have just been a smooth and sailing thing. So we should be proud of how far we have come, even though our democracy is still growing. But we should be proud of how far we have come. We should be proud of how far these two men, have handled the ship of Nigeria. For me, I am proud that President Muhammadu Buhari is my president. I am proud that Yemi Osinbajo is the acting who will revert back to the vice president. I am proud of both men because they have shown exemplary leadership, loyalty, and competence. There is no fear of each of them. We even had a story of people taking files to the president while he was in the UK. He told them, go back home. I am not in charge. If you cannot deal with the man, then you can go jump in the lake or whatever you want to do. For me, that is a man who trusts and has no fear of the man he has sitting in his stead. And that is what we should be emulating as a country. We should have a country where system works. It's a presidency. It's not a president alone. It's a presidency. That means a whole system. If one thing is happening wrong, the other side is functioning, and then the system will still function. But if it is just one president, then something happens, we're all in trouble. So that is what we have avoided, and I'm happy that we have come this far. I hope we continue to improve on it as we move along in our democracy.
In addendum, because this question is very important as a media strategist. There is one lesson, maybe because the discussion has not progressed to that level that he failed to point out, which is the attitude of the man that has been subjected to ridicule, insult.
I was actually coming to that.
Yes.
Hold your
I
thoughts.
think you hold your thoughts.
Hold your thoughts there.
No, where I was coming to, the combination, which I find very interesting.
Yes.
One is very tall.
One is very short.
So when we need something to be taken from the roof, one stretches his hand. When it falls on the floor, the other one rests.
And Dr. Njoki, you talked about maturity in handling issues like this. Honorable Agbeje, now Hamisu raised that, and I was just going to throw that to you. This is a president. How would you assess his disposition? Because when the presidential media team visited him last week, he told them that he was keeping tab on events back home, through the Nigerian media. This is someone who so many stories were told about his health condition, and even at the point was rumored to be dead. How do you think he took it?
Thank you so much. Before I answer that question, let me just go back to what Doctor said about issue of in this fledgling democracy. In democracy, if you are saying you don't expect opposition, you are deceiving yourself. That's what this democracy. To make democracy to be stronger, to make democracy to be viral, you must also expect opposition. When the PDP won the election in court, the Macaroni fashion, some of them were so happy because it makes us to sit tight. It makes us to give Nigeria the best because we're in a competition. We're in a competitive market. How you getting me? So nobody we don't expect opposition, but we want a constructive argument that objectively will bring something on board, will contribute to Nigerian project, and we'll move forward. In any country, there's no way you can say you want to sign opposition. You can't do that. It's not going to happen. People don't allow that to happen. And to go back to your question, that on a daily basis, apart from the acting president, the president on the works of government on daily basis, the president to monitor things. Despite is there creating the man monitor things that's happening at home. Yes. You can see from his response when he made the minister team, the way he was expressing with them, the way he was discussing with them, it was being equipped with the happiness at home. So there's not a president that just went to go and sit out there that I'm just recuperating. He monitors things closely, strongly, and make sure that things work according to the detail of the constitution. And that's what he has been doing, and we appreciate him for that.
Thank you. So, Hamisu,
yes,
all this could have been controlled. At a point, there was a proposition that social media be controlled and all hell was let loose. But then we've seen over time what the social media is capable of doing.
Yes.
Misinformation.
Yes.
So how can it be controlled?
You see, in as much as there is freedom of information and the right to exercise your thoughts, you should come with responsibility. You could only write and do whatever you want to do under a peaceful atmosphere. Where there is no peace, nobody, I repeat, nobody is safe. And to incite is very easy in terms of politicking, but the backlash is something that we may not be able to contain. So we can use social media for positive change, which we've seen in the previous elections. Social media had played a very positive role by becoming a watchdog over what is happening. The elections, the campaigns, everything, social media has been contributing. But when social media has become a place for mischief,
A tool for mischief.
or a tool for mischief, or hate speeches that incite, that is divisive, then something needed to be done urgently. What has been keeping Nigerians apart from progressing beyond where we are today is because there is a general platform that could be used to divide the people along so many lines. And that is not what we need. Prior to this time, social media has played critical roles where a lot of progressives connect and then marshal their resources and thought to bring about positive change. These are the kind of things I want to see social media used for, not inciting people, posting pictures that are capable. And you know we are volatile people. We don't believe in the institutions of government and governance, so that people don't equally go to report cases. So once you are hurt, the next thing you do is you look for the next target. And that is why when you have something happening, for instance, in northern part, which is bad, and then that become a source of a tool to incite others, you find a counter reaction, negative one, happening in the south, so that the synergy, the brotherhood, the needed bonding that can catalyze the change you want to see will be deflated. And this is what has been happening, and we know that there are persons that are behind it. They are being responsible, but we can't blame them. Just I saw the anger and the frustration on the face of my brother Mr. Abuja when he was expressing himself. Now, politics is all about interest. We can't shy away from it. It's one of the most dirtiest games you can ever think of, and some people can go beyond limits in order to pursue their ambition. And that is why people can sponsor killings in order to eliminate their opponent in politics. So it is not as if these things will not happen, they will happen. But are we really fighting against it? And that is where my point, my thought will come in. Is that if Nigerians will not use social media as a tool for positive change, if it will be continued to be used to incite violence, then we need media law that will make people to be responsible in what they post.
Thank you very much. Now, Dr. Ojoko, now taking off from where Hamisu stopped, the acting president made a pronouncement that hate speeches will henceforth be treated as an act of terrorism. Yes. Now, how can this be followed through? Do we have a law to back this and bring perpetrators to book?
Yes, Hamisu made a very interesting point. The media constitutes a very strong tool. The ability to handle information and manipulate information. And being a strong tool, it is like a weapon. And a weapon should not be left in the hands of irresponsible people. That is why if you want to acquire firearms for your use, you have to be of age in the first place and of the right mind. Otherwise, they won't give you. Unfortunately, the people who own the social media, who started it, they are normally busy people who go to work in the morning. You know, they're too busy to spend all their time chatting on nonsense and negative things. Unfortunately, we have acquired the social media, and this is a population where, I mean, if you cite the rate of unemployment, it's so high. So most people spend their whole day even when they should be otherwise busy. So we spend so much time, and the social media has now been used to become a backbiter's medium. A medium for irresponsible talk, for provocative talk, for insulting talk. unfortunately, most of the people who use this social media don't have the discipline. Like you, as a journalist, you have professional discipline. You edit what you say so that you don't offend public sensibility. Unfortunately, it is open, available to everybody there, and they are using it for negative means. In fact, it's even immoral. Some of the things that you see there, you get shocked.
All right, Dr. Njoku, just hold your thoughts there. Now, the moment Nigerians have been waiting for, and indeed the whole world, is finally here. President Muhammadu Buhari back in the country. Let's join Makut now at the presidential wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport.
Well, thank you very much, Isaac, and the studio. We're here live again from the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, the presidential wing to be precise, here in Abuja. The presidential plane, Air Force 001, has just landed and is taxiing to the presidential wing. As we have told you earlier, the Brigade of Guards, the presidential aides, and the whole paraphernalia of the president is already on ground to receive the president, who has been away for over 3 months receiving medical treatment. There is also an entourage of governors, politicians, and indeed some dignitaries that have come to receive the president. As you can see to my far right, the plane is taxiing, and gradually it will taxi to where we are stationed. So that is the presidential plane 001, which of course has been with the president. Now the plane, as we understand, has arrived according to schedule. Earlier on we were told that it was going to land here whether 4:35 or so, and indeed by the time now, that time is correct, and the president is taxiing gradually to the presidential terminal here. From far we can see the presidential bodyguards also. If you can see to the far end of that plane, there are 2 vehicles. They are following Mr. President, and indeed those are the presidential bodyguards that have just driven away from here to get to him. So as he comes, you see every other aspect of what needs to be. We are positioned in a place where we can tell you. Now, I can tell you from where I am here that the chairman of the Governors Forum, the APC Governors Forum is here, Rochas Okorocha. We spoke with him earlier. Then the chairman of the Governors Forum, Abdulaziz Yari of Zamfara State, is also here. Minister of Information and Culture, and indeed not to forget the fact that the Chief of Staff to the President is here. I can see the service chiefs also, the Chief of Army Staff, General Buratai, who can see they are all here, the IG, the Chief of Naval Staff, they are all here to receive the President. So it's not a large crowd per se, but those who should be here are here. The Brigade of Guards is also well positioned. You can see them on the foreground if my camera can go to that angle. So taxiing to its parking arrival space is 001. The acting president, Professor Yomi Osibanjo, is just walking to the arrival point also. He's been around and is arriving where to receive the president. I'm sure he'll be the first on that line of receiving Mr. President. So the moment Nigerians have been waiting for is here, finally. President Muhammadu Buhari back to Nigeria. that's the situation here. A small troop of, I think, cultural troop is also here, somewhere by the site of this plane. They are here. So the plane is well, so right now, as I said, a lot of people are here to receive the president. I mean, a lot of people in the sense that they select few, those who should be here, they are here. And I'll leave you at this point with the ambience of Mr. President's arrival so that you can see what's happening here. Well, the doors of Air Force 001 are open, and the doors, as I said, are open, and the stairs are being rolled out, expecting Mr. President to alight. And from here, I can see the State Chief of Protocol, Scope, who is shown his face. Like I said, so you are getting live pictures from the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport here in Abuja, where the Air Force, Nigerian Air Force aircraft 001 has landed. On board is Mr. President, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, who is touching home soil, so to say, having been away for 103 days receiving treatment in the UK. Mr. President has just landed. This plane touched down at about 4:35 or so, and so Mr. President is back home and is being received by many dignitaries. I can see the acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, approaching the aircraft. Osinbajo approaching the aircraft, and very soon, I'm sure, Mr. President will show up and indeed receive the salute. The presidential guard of honor is already positioned. The brigade of guards are here, and so very soon they are going to begin the ceremonial duties of receiving Mr. President, welcoming him back home, having been away for about 3 months now. Those are the pictures, Mr. President, President Muhammadu Buhari, coming down from the plane. Mr. President would soon be alighting. The ADC is by the door, and I believe the President will soon show up. Other presidential aides have alighted, making their way to the motorcade that has been waiting here for hours now. The President is still expected to make his way down. Acting President Professor Yemi Oshimbanjo is standing by the foot of the plane to receive him. Now, it's also interesting to tell you that from the adjacent side, the other staff of the airport have virtually taking time off, so to say, to observe what is happening. Far away at the background, they are there also looking at the arrival of President Muhammadu Buhari. So all is set here to receive the president, and like I said, a small batch of cultural troupe is also here, and I'm sure by the time they are performing, you will see them. That is President Muhammadu Buhari coming out of the plane. Indeed, the president is coming out now. Well, the president has been received by the acting president, Yemi Osinbajo, and the national anthem now. The president has just received the presidential salute from the Brigade of Guards, and right now he's meeting the dignitaries and receiving the dignitaries that came here to welcome him. He's exchanging pleasantries with them, and they have all been waiting here, and the president is taking his time really to meet them. Some of them he has not seen for more than 3 months. Some of them he saw when they came to see him. He's moving down gradually to perhaps receive the cultural troupe that are here to welcome him. That's the president making his way to the presidential lodge, perhaps to get some rest for a few moments before he makes his way into the city of Abuja. So let's go down. Have they cut down? Can we go down now?
All right, we've seen it. The president is back in the country. Dr. Paddy, before we joined our outside broadcast crew, you were running off, so just round off and I'll come to Ogbeni.
Yes. I think it's a thing of joy. You don't know where my mind was going now. Suppose it was a corpse that was being brought out now. In which mood would the nation have been? So I think God loves the country. The whole circumstances could probably have been misconstrued, and only God knows what that would have given. You read the story of one policeman who said he'll kill 200 people if the president dies. I'm sure he'll give birth to 200 people now that the president will die. So I think it's a thing of God. It's something to thank God for. And then another thing, there has been too much distraction with the president's absence, president's ill health. Thank God he's back here now. Let us face business, government business. Let the legislature face business, the executive face business, the critics face constructive business. Not every day somebody's telling us we are flying to go and see the president. Thank God the man is here. If we want to see him, we go to the villa and see him and face our work. There's been too much distraction, and it's not good for the health of the economy. It's not good for the health of the polity. So I think we should all thank God and rejoice that he has had our prayers. He is the father of the nation. And of course, he's somebody's husband, it's some people's father, biological father. So I think that good mood should now be felt all over the country so that we face real business. We've had enough distraction.
Thank you, Dr. Njoko. Now, Ogbeni Oyalo, you mentioned before we took off that it calls for praise and worship. So now it's indeed a joyous mood in the country. But how should we not celebrate? Because I know some people would want to take it to the extreme. What's your advice?
There's a Yoruba adage that says, when I'm so happy, if you ride the horse, ride within me right now, there will be no gallop. The thing will just move smoothly. For me, like he rightly said, it's a thing of joy. The distraction of when is the president coming, he should resume or resign, that is now far behind us. We are over that. At least we have all seen somebody who said he had 11 pictures of the president in life support, and all those nonsense talks can now be put behind the banners. We can now face the true business of nation building. For me, we should rejoice that he's alive, that he's healthy, and is back on his feet. But we should also rejoice and temper our joyous mood with some sober reflection, because the truth is Nigeria still have issues, and he has come in now. We want him, like I said earlier on, he's not the one running the economy. The man who runs the economy will continue to run the economy. That is Professor Yemi Osinbajo. But at least we now have the moral authority, sovereign, who's the one who's sovereign is placed within him as the president, is back there. So that's that calmness of, before there was a lot of uncertainty. Is he dead? Is he alive? Is he incapacitated? But all those ones are now totally right behind us. So we can now face it without fear of what will be, what can be, knowing fully well that this man is on his feet. He's fine now. He can run this country as he was before he left. All he needs to do is take it easy with himself. Let his vice, who is younger, more energetic, continue what he was doing, and he's still going to keep doing. Let him just be there, giving that leadership. Like he rightly said, he's the father of the nation. That father nature, that father figure that we've lacked in him is back. So all we just want for him is to take it easy with himself, let the economy run as it has been running, and let us have that guidance that we needed in the sovereign that is President Muhammadu Buhari.
Thank you, Ogbeni. Yeah, Honorable Agbaje, it's back to business. The president is back in the country. Now, as a member of the APC Action Group, what do you think would, is going to happen?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We thank God, and we are very happy about that. Our president is back. People have been speculating that this man is in supportive machinery, and then they can see clearly with their 2 years that the man is back in the country and nothing of such. And we are so happy that we have said, although we have to celebrate as well, but in as much we are celebrating the working of the government and the business of the government is going. Like I said before, no vacuum in government, and that the man is here now. We keep on giving the support that this country must move forward. The president of the nation, like I've said, we will still play that father role in ensuring that things are well done in proper way, in a proper manner, that all Nigerians will enjoy and will benefit from this development of democracy we have been seeing. And Nigeria will not be disappointed that they have given the mandate to APC and they have given the trust in the Buhari government. And I can assure them that things will be consolidated and Nigeria will be happy for that.
All right. Thank you, Honorable Agbaje. All right. Okay, now let's rejoin Makut Simon Macham at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport to just round off while we come back here and round up the show. Makut, you're on.
Thank you very much, studio. This is the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. A few minutes ago, you saw the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, alighting from the aircraft, Nigerian Airport 001, into the presidential lot. And a short while ago, the motorcade drove off with the President to the presidential villa. It was a brief ceremony, so to say. There were no too much protocol here. Those who received the President included the acting President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, who was here with some governors, presidential aides, and presidential staff, led by the Chief of Staff to the President. They were all here to receive the President. And indeed, on the background, you can see the Brigade of Guards who received the President also rounding up. Now, perhaps there will be other events at the presidential villa that we will still bring to you. Our State House correspondent, Adamu Sambu, who was also here, is there, and he will keep you posted from that angle. For now, on behalf of the crew, Hakim, Adachi, who have been here on ground, and the people in the studio who have worked tirelessly to see that we bring this feed live to you. My name is Makut Simon. Handing back to you in the studio for the continuation of discussion on the program.
Our appreciation, Makut. Thank you very much for a job well done. Now, back in the studio, Dr. Pagi and Joko, the President is back in the country, and when Ogbeni Oyalo was speaking, he said something. Okay, the President should take it easy on himself. What should we expect? Should we expect the President to resume and keep the ground running, or give a little time to the acting President who's been holding forth before now?
I would advise Nigerians to take it easy. We have seen that these things are not mechanical. Given the man's age, whether you like it or not, he should be slowing down, even if he were 100% well. He should be slowing down. He wouldn't run at the same speed at which you would run. Not to talk of now that he's convalescing. They should allow him. I would even say these visits and solidarity and so on and so forth. They should handle that well so that the man takes time to rest. The governance of Nigeria is an enormous burden on its own. Even you here, as the number of people that are calling you, sending you texts, asking them to send them money, and you. So, as an individual, it's enormous. Not to talk of a man up to whom 170 million people are looking.
Up to.
Yeah. You know? So I think they should allow him time to convalesce, give him time. It is morally comforting enough to know that he is around. Here, he is around. And if push comes to shove, people can reach him and see him. But as Obedi has said, the team that has been acting has been doing pretty well. And one would expect that such a team has to move on while the man recuperates naturally and normally. Let's not push him and push him back to the place again. I mean, take him like your father. Suppose that's your real biological father, and he came back from this sort of long medical trip. If he wants to lift something, you say, Daddy, please, let me carry it for you. I mean, we are all natural. We are all human beings. So I think Nigerians should give some time, allow for recuperation, but governance must continue. Distraction must discontinue so that we face the real business that is facing us. And it's enormous. That's my advice.
Thank you again, Dr. Njoko. Hamisa, I see you listening to Dr. Njoko with rapt attention. You want to share your thoughts?
Yeah, I just thought mine is just a point of disagreement with him and Ogbeni, because the picture they are painting is that everybody is happy. It's not everybody that is happy that the president is back. Let us get this very, very straight. Because there were political alignment and realignment that are beginning to take place, especially when it was speculated that the man was on a life support machine. And people are beginning to permutate towards 2019, and suddenly the same man alighted from the plane, stood for the national anthem, and walked into his car, heading towards the villa, and you said everybody is happy? No.
Every normal person is happy. Every normal person is happy.
The point I agree with him is the fact that governance must continue, and then distraction will continue, because it's all about sabotaging you so that I can make a point that will sell me as a replacement for you. So we are not expecting that distraction will stop. But the point I agree with him is the fact that governance must continue. And a lot is being expected from Mr. President. Nigerians expect him to shock them, shocking them by pronouncements that are far-reaching. Because a lot of persons are of the opinion that since he left, a lot has been happening, and the fight against corruption has relapsed. Not because the people are not doing what they are doing, but it is the opinion and consensus of the people that the vigor with which the corruption fight was continuing became a sort of relaxed when the president left. And these are issues that Mr. President must be able to address, and address squarely, fairly well. The issue of education is very, very vital to the sustainability of Nigeria.
Yes, he's coming back to meet the ASU strike.
Yes. So seriously, Mr. President will need to rest, but at the same time again, he needs to take briefings from his appointees, and subsequently make pronouncement that will show that really the change we really worked for and are expecting is on the right course. There are pending issues that Mr. President must address within the first 1 week of his arrival. Failure to do this will send a very wrong signal to Nigerians and to the outside world that up to now the president is not fit to run this country. So he must, as a matter of urgency, get his team to work, because as the president, everybody is your aide, and you can leverage on any capacity to send the message you want to send and to act.
Hamisu, thank you very much. Okay, as we begin to round off, I'll just, in all of this, there have been lessons learned.
Yeah.
Okay, and one of them, it's the need to revitalize our health sector, because a lot of people have said, if only we had those things in place, the president wouldn't have been away from the country for this long.
I totally agree.
And that's true. I quite agree with you. The fundamental aspect we must look at it is that, like there are some things we don't need to, if you say it on public, people will say, how can you say this won't happen? But I must be honest with you, but this issue of this president that happened now, like I said before, it has not sit like this. Because you can see the extent that some people can go to extent, and they want to bring some people there because he's trying to give the people the best. Because this man is zero to corruption, and he's doing everything possible to move Nigeria forward. But some people, because they are not comfortable, they want to bring them by force. And you will not have such trust in that kind of. It's not there will not such in that sector. But you have to be very careful as well. You have to be very careful, and that's why that's what brought about for him to go and treat himself there. It's not that you don't have to trust there, but at the same time you have to be extraordinarily careful. Are you getting me? Yes. But is trying everything possible to fix most of the sector we have in the health sector, in the education, like the education they are also strike now. They are engaging them. That's what don't under. They are being attended to, and there are issues being looked to, and very soon the issue will be resolved. But what I'm saying in a sense that the issue of health sector will be handled very well with the minister that is there now, and we have confidence in him that is going to do a lot.
Thank you,
because at the same time, because we in Barry First Organization Network, it's not that we are just on the president policy and program of the this administration that we only focus on that alone. At the same time, if you see anything that is going on, we do the other demand there. And that's why in our last program we did in Jos. Some of the ministers are not adding value to this government, and I want to say clearly here now that
Honorable, but you might just hold your thoughts there. That's for the inner room, for the caucus, right? Yeah, yes, that's for the caucus. Ogbeni, you might just want to share your thoughts and just pass the baton to Dr.
For me, the health sector, I did a few tweets a few days ago, and I say clearly that any system that does not factor in the weak, the poor, and the not too able into it is not a good system. Our health system, our health sector must be looked into, no doubt about that. We have to have a system where both the prince and the pauper can all be beneficiaries. Because if something happens to, God forbid, let's say me, where do I have the money to fly abroad or to go treat myself? So we need to upgrade our system. You cannot blame Buhari for this. We've had a lot of, we've had years of mismanagement. But be that as it may, we have to invest in infrastructure. And I'm happy they are working a lot on infrastructure, but we have to do more. Because the story out there is that we have more Nigerian doctors outside Nigeria than we have within Nigeria. And many of them, even when they graduate, they have challenges of where to do their housemanship, where to do their other further trainings. So we need to invest massively in our health sector. Because if your health sector is failing, then you have a failing population, whether you like it or not. So we have to do that. But be that as it may, we are grateful to God that the man is back home. We just want to see him hit the ground, not running, but hit the ground working.
Thank you, Ogbeni. Dr. Njoku,
yes,
final thoughts.
I did say earlier that whenever anything happens to you as a person or us as a nation, we should ask ourselves, what does God want to teach us by this happening? We had a president who had to be flown out. Doctrine of necessity, it ended in death. That was why everybody was scared this time again, when this one had to be flown out. Now, what efforts are we making to make sure that we don't fly any other president out? This is a capital question we should ask ourselves. There's been a rot in social infrastructure. And of course, our educational system is part of it. But the health system we must refurbish. We cannot be, there's an expression I use that we have flag independence. That is our independence, is independence of just the flag. If we cannot take care of our own president, number one man, we can't take care of his health. We can't take care of maternal and child care. How independent are we?
Thank you, Dr. Njoku. Food for thought. Yeah. All right. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on the program today.
Thank you.
It's quite a joyous moment for...
I hope that the DJ must be wearing somewhere. We need to dance this one.
And I really want to compliment you. You are doing a fantastic job.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
There must be a DJ somewhere because I want to dance.
The broadcast today, welcoming our president back to the country. Thanks for sharing your time with us. I am Isaac Nkuma. Good evening.